live. All right. Are we there? Nice. All right. Nice. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome. It's another Tuesday. I almost said Thursday. Welcome, welcome. Jumping a little ahead of it today. Anyway, hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a pretty good week, despite the fact you might be in bully culture. Sometimes I know those weeks can be rough. Anyway, so tonight we're going to talk about why bullies file false complaints. And obviously, bullies file false complaints in order to hurt you, right? Which is a given. They want, and it's not just to hurt you. It's really one of the filing complaints is one of the major ways that bullies go after you, not only to hurt you, but to harm your professional reputation and to discredit you, right? Because they are out to get you, literally. And so that's what they do, is they file complaints, again, to discredit you, but it's a little bit more than just about discrediting you, is because when they continue to say these things over and over and over, at some point the system, bureaucratic organizations expect filing complaints, right? That's kind of the next step, is if you're having an issue with somebody under normal circumstances, not necessarily bullying, but in normal circumstances, if there's a problem between you and someone else, you try to work it out amongst yourselves, nothing happens, it doesn't work out, and then what ends up happening is then you file a complaint, right? So you can do it formally and informally, but lots of times you can do it, there are lots of formal complaints that you can file. And it is to discredit you, but it is also, right, it has a wider net effect, which is to show everybody that you really are a problem. If you're such a problem that they have to file a formal complaint against you, okay? And again, a lot of times what happens in the formal complaints are these narratives and lies and these gaslighting things that they've been doing probably behind your back that you probably don't know of, weaved into that false complaint. Because one of the things, and I think I've told you this before, is what I didn't realize, I don't know why, it's like, but when I was being bullied, what I didn't realize is how much time these bullies were cultivating those power relationships, right? They were out there talking to HR, planting the narrative and the gaslighting so that the formal complaints could come in, right? And so I just didn't realize how much behind the scenes work they were doing to get me. Okay, so anyway, so that's problem, right? So you have to be aware of what you're seeing and what's happening behind your back. Those are very different things. So you have to expect that they're doing things behind your back, and you have to be aware of that. And you can counter some of that, and we've talked about some of those things. For example, if you know that they're, or even if you don't know, one of the things that you can do is you can pick out the power people in your workplace, okay? Is it your supervisor? Is your supervisor somebody who's got power? Or is your supervisor somebody that only has power over you and a couple of other people? Is it that the supervisor above your supervisor, right? Or is it human resources, right? Pick out the people you think have the most power in the organization. And again, slowly, carefully, and strategically cultivate those relationships so they see a different side of you than what the bully is telling them. Now, I'm also going to be a realist with you because I despised HR. Okay? I'm sorry, HR people. I know you're not all bad. But because of how that HR director, I should say directors, how they acted was just, it just was painful, was hurtful. And they didn't seem to have any remorse or caring, that they were very one sided. Okay, so my whole point in that is to tell you that cultivating relationships with people in powerful positions is a strategic step that you can take that will require you to step outside of your comfort zone and be kind to people that you would probably like to do other things to, if you know what I'm saying to you. And that can be a real stretch, okay? But I'm not saying go have a coffee or go out to happy hour with them. What I'm saying is drop by their office and, if they have mints, grab a mint, right? Oh, I love these mints. And then maybe even sometime bring them some mints, things like that, okay? Slow, so they can see you, that you're human, and also that you're different than what the bully is telling them. Okay, it's a strategy. It's okay, it's not going to fix everything. It's a strategy to get those people in power positions to see you, so that when the bully is coming in making complaints, they see you as a woman who likes mints, not as the troublemaker. Okay. The other reason that bullies file false complaints is to divert attention away from themselves, right? So they are super skilled at sort of deflecting stuff back. And a lot of times what they're doing is they're deflecting and filing complaints against you for the very things that they're doing, okay? So for example, let's say that you've reported them, okay? Or they think you are, or they heard somebody say that you were going to report them, or whatever it is. It can be real or imagined on their part, but for some reason they think you're going to report. Okay, they might file a false complaint before you in order to divert attention away from themselves. Okay, because again, what they want to do is make you look out to be the one that's the real problem, where they're not the problem. Look, it's you. They're the ones filing the complaint about you. Okay, so they will do these counter tactics in order, again, to escalate the issues between you, okay, and also wrap in and pull in the organization, okay, because what they know is filing a false complaint with you is that they're buddy with the people in power positions, right? They've got a good relationship with HR because they've been sucking up, okay? They've been telling HR all about you. They've got the same thing with your supervisor. So they'll deflect it back on you. Again, that's just a means of distraction, okay? And what you have to do is, if you're in that situation, is first off, let me tell you that is extremely difficult and painful, okay? To have those things happen to you. In fact, I absolutely did have that happen to me. And I maybe have told you this story again, sorry. But I did have somebody, I think told you about my sister passing away, and we had an incident, beforehand. My sister passed away, and then when I got back, this person had filed a false complaint. Okay, first off, let's just break that down just a little bit, okay? Because this had happened a couple of weeks before my sister died, so he had plenty of time to file a complaint. But again, a bully wants to maximize the pain, right? So for him, it was a perfect opportunity when I was away to file the complaint, because my sister had passed away and that was painful, okay? And so when I get back, like the second day, I got called into the, provost office. And so it was extremely painful on top of my sister passing away. And so they will do things to maximize the hurt, like filing a false complaint when they think you're going to, okay? And so it's a distraction to throw, again, to distract and also to confuse, okay? Because one of the problems that your supervisor might be having, and that HR often has, is that we don't know who to believe, right? You're saying this, and this other person is saying this. And the thing that the bully has on their side often is they have loyalists or bystanders who will regurgitate their story or the way they want the events presented, not the factual, not as to how they actually happened. Okay, and as a result of that, instead of investigating, what leaders and supervisors often do is take the majority opinion rather than investigating. So that distraction and confusion is a win for bullies because they like that. Because if people who can make decisions and hold them accountable don't know what's going on, that's a magnificent win for them. Okay. Which takes us to our next point, which is again to keep the work environment chaotic and make it just sends another message out to the workplace is that this person is in control, right? It's to manipulate people. It's to manipulate HR. It's to manipulate your supervisor. And also, okay, I want to be very, very clear about this. Okay, these things are done, one, to hurt you, but also to send a message to bystanders and other people out there is, here's the line and don't cross it. Because if you do and you try to get in the way or tell somebody I'm a bully, this is what you could be next. Okay? And so it is about also sending a kind of a message to bystanders that is, you better walk the line, okay, and go with my story and tell them that you're the problem rather than telling the truth. And one of the things also then, what I want to be also clear is that when a bully files a false complaint, what happens with bystanders, okay, is because bullies are out there cultivating those relationships, telling all sorts of things about you that you probably have no idea about. And one of the things that happens with bystanders is, they develop a bias over time, right? So they hear these messages all over and over and over. And what happens to us as human beings, when we hear the same things over and over and over, we have a tendency to start to believe those things, even though we might know that that's not factual or true. But then what happens when we're hearing the same thing over and over and over? Jan's a troublemaker, Jan's a troublemaker, Jan's a troublemaker, Jan's a troublemaker. What we have a tendency to do is find information in our environment to confirm that. It's called my side bias. It happens all the time, okay? So then those bystanders who maybe you were once friends with become your worst nightmare because they have my side bias and they believe now. It's not that they think that, you're being bullied. They believe that you're actually the problem. So what they once couldn't believe now becomes part of their everyday work life. And so that's why they can engage in workplace bullying against you, is because they believe you are the problem. Okay? Because they have found enough information in your work environment, like this bully who's filing the false complaint, to show them that, yeah, you are the problem. Okay? And that's why it's so, so, so important to, again, be on, exemplary professional behavior at all times. Okay? Now I'm gonna put a caveat on there too, because I worked in bully culture, okay, and it takes a toll on you personally. It takes a toll on you professionally, and I don't know anybody who can stay professional in workplace bullying 100% of the time. And you know what? That's okay. You need to show yourself some compassion, because when you have so many people around you, again, who are telling you that you're the problem and who are abusing you, okay, it's workplace abuse. I prefer that term over bullying, because I think the term bullying minimizes your experience. You're being abused at work. It's causing you workplace trauma. You're being harmed, okay? And I think until we preface it with the significant damage and harm it does to us, right? You know that, okay? And we call it bullying, it minimizes your experiences, okay? And so if you know, have a bad day and, you snap a little bit, okay? That's okay. You can be compassionate with yourself. You can forgive yourself and let it go and do better tomorrow. The other thing, of course, I'm going to say this, is your documentation is your friend, okay? And the reason your documentation, again, you have to look at documentation not as a tool that's going to help you report and that's going to stop the bullying, okay? Yes, it would be lovely if that's in fact the way it happened, right? But it generally doesn't work like that when you're being bullied, okay? You have to look at your documentation as a tool that is there to protect you. So yes, I read somewhere, somebody's like, you shouldn't have to be documenting at work. Yeah, that's right, you shouldn't. But when you're in bully culture, you do. I shouldn't have to do a lot of things, okay? But because I was a single mom, I had to do them. So what, right? And so again, having a good system where you have a good system to get down as much as you possibly can, right? You're using, screenshots, and you're saving email, email message chains and all of those things, and then you're organizing it in a way where it's easily retrievable. Those are the things that you're doing not to get the bully, but is to protect yourself, so that when you do have a false complaint come by and something happens, you can do exactly what I did. When I got called into the provost's office, I said, well, let me get out my documentation. And I said, it happened on this day at this time. This is what this person said. This is what I said. This is what they said. This is what I said. This is what they did. And this is how I got out of that, right? And so I was able to, right, I had all my notes. It wasn't, I had all the stuff. And so that was a form of protection for me, and to show the provost that I wasn't the one who was the problem, right? Now, I'm also going to say this. When the three of us met, this other person who was the bully did kind of lose his stuff, which was also to my advantage, right? But I had my documentation there, which was very, very helpful, and the provost wasn't expecting it. And when I could tell him verbatim what this person said and what I said, it just made me seem credible, right? Because I was credible, okay? And so that's why it's really, really, really important to get a good system to document. And once you get a good system in place, it'll become part of your everyday work life, okay? So you'll automatically take the meeting agendas, scan them into your computer, and then file them away in your artifact or evidence file, okay? And those are the things that are super, super, super important, okay? But the reasons the reasons bully file false complaints are the reasons bullies bully you, because they're manipulative. They want to be the center of attention. They are trying to gain power in the workplace, and and they also want to hurt you and attack your professional reputation. And so I also think that if your bully, that's an escalation up the chain, right? And so you have to, I think we get very caught up in the everyday life of bullying, because some days it's very painful and it's hard to survive. And we can't fathom doing to the bully what the bully is doing to us. But when the bully escalates, something like moving it up the chain of command and filing a formal grievance against you, then I think that needs to be a reality check. And, and then you need to start even being more protecting yourself more. Okay, and that's one of the things that we will talk about on Thursday, are those things that you can do to protect yourself, okay, when a bully takes this to the next level other than documenting, okay? But I really recommend getting a good documentation system. If you're interested in learning how to do that, reach out to me. You know, you can always email me at jan@stopbullyculture.com, or you can just message me on Facebook or YouTube, and I will get back to you, and I can talk to you about the system or helping you develop your system. And if you don't have a documentation system, you really, 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 really need one. It's your friend. It's your friend. And it doesn't have to be anything too painful or anything like that. You can, you know, we have a lot of digital tools now that are really beneficial for documenting. And not just documenting, compiling, analyzing, all those things. So, anyway, I hope you're doing well. It was so lovely to be here with you tonight. If you have any questions or concerns, you know, I'm always looking for ideas of things to talk about. So if something has happened to you or you have a question, please let me know. I would also love it if you would give this a like and follow my Stop Bully Culture page. That would make me super happy. I'm almost to 1,000, so I'm pretty happy about that. So anyway, stay strong, right? You're getting up and going to bully culture every day. That is you are courageous, right? So tomorrow I want you to go, when you're going into work, say to yourself, I am courageous and I am strong, and I deserve a workplace free of bullying. And I'll see you on Thursday.